In this video, you're going to learn how to use a program called MakerCase, which is actually a website, to be able to make a very quick three-dimensional box. We're going to be making a box in this case that's actually going to function as a lampshade. So for ease of use, we'll start with the basic box. Click on it, and what this program does is we will input our specifications for the box, and then we can download a file type that can then be laser cut. And of course we'll want to bring this into Inkscape, and I have a couple of fun things I'd like to do to it before sending it on to the laser cutter. So let's see, this is our box. We can actually move it around in three-dimensional space, which is pretty cool, so that way we can see what our box is going to look like. And I've measured the lamp that I'm making this lampshade for, and I want my box to be pretty tight to it. And of course that could be a fire hazard, but you know, we live and learn, right? So I'll start with a width of 4.5, a height of 7.25, and a depth also of 4.5. So our box will actually be, oops, it doesn't have an opening. So since this is going to be a lampshade, we want one side of it to be open, and that'll be the bottom. We'll specify that later. So I need to say open down here. Okay, now we have an opening. That will actually be on the bottom, not the top, but that doesn't matter for this image. And these are the outside dimensions, and I'll be using material that's about 1/4 of an inch thick. It's always a good idea to measure your material before specifying it, and you can put a custom size in case you have a size that's in millimeters or something else. We will scroll down here, and I want to use finger joints. I could glue along these edges, but I think that finger joints just look really cool, and when I'm gluing it together, it will fit together quite easily. And so I'll double check anything else. I could increase or decrease the finger size, and I actually like the look of quite a few of these finger joints, so I will make them to be 1/2 inch long, or close to it. It's kind of hard to specify here, but that's almost 1/2 inch long. And then look, I can just download the box plans. And it gives me a few options here. I don't want to have the text on mine. I don't need that. It might be helpful for you. And there are other options here. We're not going to worry about them. And otherwise it looks pretty good. So we'll download the SVG. So it's downloading as box1 in my downloads file, and I will go into our lamp box file. Now earlier I knew what dimensions I wanted my lampshade to be, so I took an image of some leaves. You'll see that image in the reference file, and I did some work to it like we have done in other projects, and these are actually going to be cutouts in the box. So we'll import our box from our downloads file, and you'll understand what I mean in just a moment. So box1, we'll open that. Okay, it's a little hard to see, so I'm going to go to our stroke style panel and just beef it up a little bit, and I'm going to flip it. We know that this is a 12 by 20 area, and that's about the size of our working space, so on the laser cutter. So I'm going to ungroup this and move pieces around so that way they fit a little bit better in our laser working space. Oops. And the likelihood is that Glowforge will cut these apart anyways, and I'll be able to move them around to fit well on the material, but I like to make things close and make sure they'll all fit out and cut out on one sheet from the start. One little note here, since again the bottom of our box is actually going to be the top of our lampshade, I measured the hole in the top of the lamp just that goes just above the bulb, and it's a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch. So I made a 1/4 of an inch circle earlier that I fit onto here as well. We're gonna group, or actually combine that, and the rest of these should all be combined. So I'll just drag them into place. And then I'll use our Align and Distribute panel, which again, if you don't know where that is, you can go to Object, Align and Distribute, and it'll pop up on the right hand side of your screen. And we'll just center this. I have about 1/2 an inch of material between the edge of the end of the fingers and the cutouts that are going to be happening. And you can see that some of these cutouts are really close, so say this piece right here might actually end up breaking off, but that's okay. It's a bunch of natural patterns, so it doesn't need to look perfect. So again, with each of these, we will click, shift click onto the two pieces we want to center, and then hit center on vertical axes and center on horizontal axes. Oops, not that one. And last but not least, okay. So I'll laser cut this on material that is a 1/4 of an inch thick, and then I'll be able to put some thin paper on the inside of the box, then glue it together, and then I'll have a really nifty lampshade. So you'll get to see a picture of that at the bottom of this lesson. And the last thing to do is save it, and then again we'll go and cut it out.